You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, trying. Thank you.
Welcome to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities, Friday, August 7th. Thank you guys for joining us wherever you're at and however you're taking part of the program. We greatly appreciate it. TGIF, thank goodness it's Friday. The end of the work week is nearly here, and We are rocking and rolling our way through August. A lot to get to on today's show. And, of course, some stuff to get to this weekend as well. We'll talk a lot about. It's weird because a little late starting the show, a couple minutes, 1 or 2 minutes late. I don't think anybody's really worried about that much. But I was up here last night, and one of my youngest, Carson, was up here sitting in the desk. I was doing some other work, and like, it was weird. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I got this fancy desk that I didn't even realize, but it goes up and down. So, like, Carson would be like, and all of a sudden, so I couldn't figure out why the height of my desk wasn't the right thing. And it threw me for a loop for a little while. In fact, I think I got to go up a little bit more. There we go. So, that's what I've been dealing with the last several minutes. Trying to figure out why things didn't look correct, but, I figured out I have a cool desk. I didn't realize it was as cool as it was. So, again, thank you guys for joining us on OTA here on a Friday. A lot to get to on today's show. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for that. Keep doing that. Make sure you're subscribing. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not subscribed, please do so ASAP, and then tell all of your friends what we're doing each and every weekday, 10 a.m. right here off the air with Matt Randazzo. It's been a fun summer. We are through the summer, which it's a great time of year, but it's also can be a challenging time of year. If you talk to anybody in the world of broadcasting and media, the summer can be slow. We had a great summer, numbers wise too. Thank you guys for watching, but it gets kind of easier, I should say, at this point, because we got a lot to talk about. It's been a busy week here on the show, and we got another loaded show for you coming up today as well. Also, we talked about YouTube. If you're also, we're also streaming live on X. X has been very, very good to us. So if you're watching us on X, thank you for that. Welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa that are watching us live right now on the WHO Plus app. Next Friday is a show that you will not want to miss. And that's for everybody, not just our viewers in Central Iowa. We'll get to that in a second as well. But thank you guys for watching in Central Iowa or however you're watching the show. And then, of course, you can also listen to the show each and every day on the podcasting platforms everywhere, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Podbean, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts, put it off there with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the show each and every day. You don't have to look at me. You can look at the show, or you can listen to the show, which is a lot easier as well. Coming up on today's show, we are officially 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from the start of high school football season in the Illinois side of the river. 3 weeks away from the Iowa start on the Iowa side. There are a few teams in Iowa, Assumption being one of them, that have week 0 games. I always thought week 0 was weird and dumb. Not because they played them or whatever, but just to have a week 0 seemed weird to me. But that is coming up in 2 weeks on the Iowa side. The vast majority of the teams in the state of Iowa start 3 weeks from today. So whether you're in Illinois or Iowa, high school football season is coming, and it's coming fast. So coming up on the show, we're going to talk to two of the best on both sides of the river. We'll stay in the everyone says Moline's the favorite. I would agree Moline's the favorite. Mike Morrissey, who probably doesn't like being called the favorite, will join us coming up here in a little bit to talk about the Maroons and the high expectations that they have. A bunch of good players back, loaded talent, speed. It's a really good thing they have going on at Moline. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. Also, we'll hop the river later in hour number 1 to the Iowa side of the river. North Scott is a powerhouse state program. It was season 1 under Tony Stewart as the head coach last year. They're ready for year number 2. And again, kind of like Moline, a lot of familiar faces back. I think a lot of what they like is back. And they are excited about their new guys too. Or their younger guys as well. So we'll get a look at the Lancers coming up with Tony Stewart as well. We'll also do a little Friday rewind and look back at some of the fun we had this week. Luca Garza started the week as well. He was on Tuesday. Scott Docterman was on Monday. It's been a great week on the show. So we'll kind of look back at some of the best moments later in the show as well. Don't forget, while we're talking high school football, coming up on Sunday, we'll be live at the Other Bar in Moline. This channel will be live along with View from the West, so you can watch us on the View from the West channel as well. If you're subscribing to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, I'd encourage you to go and also subscribe to View from the West, especially if you're on the Illinois side of the river. Great platform for high school football. So we'll be doing our second annual kickoff show, the Other Bar in Moline, 4:30 to about 6:30, we'll have Godfather's Pizza, Snoop's Chips and Salsa, drinks, beverages, all of those kind of things. So come talk some high school football, get away, have a Sunday fun day with us. Greg Armstrong, myself, tons of coaches from around the area as well. So it should be a lot of fun. That's coming up on Sunday. In fact, yesterday we spent several hours at the other bar just setting things up, making sure everything works. Again, a huge thank you to our good friends Dane Miller and Ian Jacobs for helping us do the stuff that you don't see, that allows speakers to be up and you can hear us and at the bar itself, or things to work on this end. It's funny because I took what I normally do, went to the other bar, set it all up, then I took it all down, set it back up here. Now I'm going to tear it down again on Sunday. It's actually really easy. So excited about that. Please come join us. Also, August 16th, I do have to mention, is the Western Big Sixes Coaches Banquet. That's at the Stern Center. Super excited to get to MC that as well once again. So the next 2 Sundays, high school football coaches in the Western Big Six have to deal with me. And Mike Morrissey has to do it here in a few minutes. So man, they're going to earn it before the season starts as well. Also, I have to remind everybody, especially our viewers in Central Iowa, 1 week from today, we'll be live in Iowa City. Iowa Football Media Day is coming up on August 14th. OTA will be live from the Iowa practice facility for the second straight season. It'll be a different start time. 2:30 to 4:30 will be the show next Friday. So make note of that and make sure you join us. Tune in. Last year, Mark Gronowski, Kirk Ferentz, Addison Ostranga, just to name a few of the people we chatted with, and planning on doing the same thing this year as well. So excited about next Friday. I will not lie. Today's show will not go 2 hours. Probably won't go an hour and a half. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and get out of here a little early. But we got a lot to get to. So much to get to. I want to start with a few things from around the world of sports before we get rocking and rolling. Several things last night. And also, by the way, all eyes in the Quad Cities should be and will be on the Hall of Fame. Football back yesterday, a first preseason game of the season last night. But the Hall of Fame is this Saturday. Roger Craig is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, finally. We'll talk more about that next week, talk to some people that were there. But congratulations once again to Roger Craig. It is about time that guy got into the Hall of Fame. So super excited about that. Also, yesterday in the world of sports, boy, that Aces and Fever game was something. And I am the first person to sing Caitlin Clark's praises. I have since she's been at Iowa. A fan of Caitlin Clark. I think she's fantastic. She didn't play well down the stretch. She didn't play well last night, and then made some tough mistakes late. Missing 2 free throws, up 3 with 4 seconds to go. Simply can't happen. Allowed the Aces to make a 3, tie the game, go to overtime. And then, of course, turn the ball over late, up 3. Aces come down, and Chelsea Gray hits another 3. That time to win the game. So they went up 3, they're up 1. And the thing about that is turned it over, but then didn't really sprint back on defense and the open look and the 3. So a big win by the Aces. And so I just want to point out, like, while everyone sings Caitlin Clark's praises, and rightfully so, like, she's not perfect. She made some mistakes last night. I love the Fever the next game because I think she's going to bounce back in a big time way. But I think way too many turnovers. And that if there's one thing about Caitlin Clark's game that you want to fix or get better, it's the turnovers. And here's the thing that I'll tell you too. I got done at the other bar, came home, put my stuff back up here. My wife's out of town. So my kids just went over to my mom's house to watch the Cubs game, and then spilled into the Fever game. My nieces were over there. So I go over, and they're in the fourth quarter, late in the game. And I walk in, and there's my mom, my nieces, my boys, all glued to a television set, watching the end of the Fever game. That was not happening 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it is. So I think that's the biggest thing that you can point out that I took out of yesterday. But Caitlin's got to be better down the stretch. I don't think it takes a basketball genius to figure that out as well. Got to make free throws. And obviously, and I did read on social media, so obviously it was true because it was on social media. But she stayed well late yesterday shooting free throws, and that is not surprising as well. So great game, really entertaining and enjoyable game with the Fever yesterday. as well. I did want to bring this up. So Purdue has, and it came up in our group, one of my group texts that I have. Purdue has a new AD, and he was introduced yesterday, and so Purdue's had a great basketball run, made a national championship game and a Final Four, and always plays well, and NCAA tournaments and Sweet 16s, etc. Football's not been good. Obviously, Purdue's biggest rival is Indiana. Just listen to what the AD trying to throw shade, and I don't mind kind of taking a jab at your rival, but it's got to be better than this. Take a listen.
Every recruit, every current student athlete will hear this message repeatedly. We are here to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana.
What? Go to Indiana? Indiana just won a national championship. Like, I totally get throwing shade at your rival, but my God, that's like me making fun of some. Say, hey, if you don't like me, like, go like Dumbo. Like, Dumbo's got big ears. Like, you're pointing out your own flaw. You don't win national championships. Indiana actually won a national championship just last year, and they might do it again this year. I mean, they're ranked 6th in the country. So, Iowa State and Coach Rogers did it when he was introduced. I don't mind that. I'm totally for like, taking a jab or two at your rival, but don't have it point out what they're actually really good at, which right now Indiana football is really, really good, which is weird to say. I get it. I understand. I'm the first to point out when I look at Illinois and Iowa and when they play Indiana, even to last year, I looked at the schedule. I'm like, oh, Iowa hosts Indiana. That'll probably be an 11 o'clock game, because that's what it always was. Was an 11 o'clock kick because it was Indiana coming to town and you're going to kill. That's not the case anymore. So I get the fact that it maybe takes a little while to adjust to the fact that Indiana football is a national power. But if you're the athletic director at the rival school in the state and you make that statement, it might be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard said. I laughed. And the funniest thing I heard said was on QVC yesterday, but that's a topic we can't talk about here on the show. But that was crazy to me. I could not believe when I saw that the AD at Purdue was throwing a little shade at Indiana football. Yep, that's like me making fun of somebody for having big ears. It doesn't make any sense. So with all that being said, we got a lot to get to. We're going to take a 30-second quick timeout. Great new sponsor, Black and Gold Shop. Iowa football season is coming very fast. And around the corner, we'll be less than a month to the start of college football. If you got to get game day ready or you just need your Iowa apparel, check out Black and Gold Shop in the Quad Cities, Coralville, West Des Moines. So quick 30-second timeout, and we'll be back with Mike Morrissey from Moline right here on OTA. Hawkeye fans, football season is quickly approaching, and only one place can get you game day ready. The Black and Gold Shop is your official retailer of Iowa athletics. The largest selection of Hawkeye apparel, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more from top brands like Nike, Champion, and Under Armour. And your purchases directly help support Iowa athletics. So stop by one of their 3 great locations in the Quad Cities, Coralville, or West Des Moines. Or shop anytime at blackandgoldshop.com. The Black and Gold Shop, your official apparel provider of Iowa athletics. Welcome back to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. As we've talked about, we are now 2 weeks away from the high school football season officially kicking off on the Illinois side of the river. It'll be week 0 on the Iowa side. Yes, there's a thing called week 0. It's always been weird in Iowa. So a few teams will play week 0, but Iowa side 3 weeks away for the vast majority of the people or the teams in Iowa. But the Illinois side 2 weeks away. We continue our high school football previews here on OTA by talking to a guy that has to put up with me a lot the next month, because we have today, and we got Sunday with the View from the West kickoff party down at the other bar. The following Sunday, you have the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet at Bridges, and then the actual season itself. Mike Morrissey joins me right now. You got to be nice to me for this month, don't you?
Dude, I love seeing you. You know, the time that we spend together is something I cherish. despite the fact I miss your golf outing every summer and hear about it every summer. I appreciate the time we just spend together.
I feel bad because I kind of realized this year because Welch didn't make it, Schlemmer didn't make it, Gay Derricks has in the past, and the Shrine Game was going on.
Yeah.
And they were all part of that. I know you've been a big part of that. And like it finally hit me like, well, maybe he just doesn't hate me. Maybe he's actually busy and actually has other things to do besides hit a little white ball around and get overserved, like I usually get every single year as well. So the football season's here. I guess I want to start there because it is 2 weeks away. What is this time of year like? And I got to ask all the Illinois coaches this year, things are a little different. We've moved things up. Obviously practice started officially on Wednesday. Has it seemed normal? Has there been anything different with the calendar change?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you're prepping for the season just like usual. Obviously, I know the timeline is pretty much the same, but it does feel a little bit rushed. I think the sense of urgency is a little bit higher with making sure these guys are ready to go. I mean, 2 weeks from now is not far away. And it kind of creeps up on you pretty quick. So just making sure that you've got everything accounted for, that you've covered everything, that these guys are going to be ready to go in all phases on Friday night. That's the biggest thing. And it's hard to try to cram that all into a short time and then obviously start a little bit sooner. And then with no real dead week built in, it's like, okay, how much time do you give these guys off as well? Because you do want them to enjoy being a kid and have a summer. So, we accommodated that piece, and now that we're back to it, I think they're excited and ready.
Absolutely. Mike Morrissey joining us on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. I want to talk to you about your team. I don't want to I know you rolled your eyes when I talked to you earlier, but there's expectations of Moline, and I think you're okay with that. Like, I think you want expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
How good can this Moline team be? Of course, all your fellow coaches say you guys are the greatest team in the history of football. Well, you like what you have, though, correct? I mean, obviously, you like what you have coming in this season.
I do. I think our guys have done a great job from January to now of preparing themselves for competitive season. I think our skill guys are maybe as good as we've had ever since I've been here, as far as their talent and their ability. We got to figure out some things up front to kind of see where we're at and guys to step up into their role to kind of fill the spots that we lost from last year. But we do got a good group of kids. We got a really, really good group of kids that are intrinsically motivated and really want to live up to those standards and expectations that everybody's putting on them.
You mentioned motivation. Obviously, this team has had a ton of success of late, and their goals are always put out differently, whatever you guys want to do. I don't know if they're Western Big Six first or Week 1 first or those kind of things, but big picture-wise, I think the goals continue to get more and more. What are the goals and expectations as you guys get ready for the season inside the locker room? We can talk, the talking heads, the Mitches and Gregs of the world can say what they want to say. What are your own expectations for your school?
I mean, our goal is to always compete for a state championship. You have to make a long playoff run to be able to do that, and you have to put yourself in a position throughout the regular season to get to the postseason. But that's always the goal. Like that's kind of what we talk about. Like, we want to compete for a state championship. Like, that's if that's not the goal, then I feel like you're doing something wrong. Like you're and not that it's realistic every year. That's also a piece that for every program. Like, it might not be realistic every year, but that's what these guys should be striving for. You want to shoot for that high expectation, that high goal. And then under that umbrella, it's obviously a conference championship, playing these really good teams in the first 2 weeks, being able to be competitive with them. That's why we schedule a Rochester and a Sycamore and, a Rockwood Summit prior to, and all those in Bennett Academy and those schools. Like that's the whole point. We want to challenge our guys early. We want to make sure they understand what else is out there. So if you do get to the point where you can compete for a state championship, you're seeing those type of caliber teams early in the season so that what you're going to be up against, come early November and in mid-November.
I want to clarify for the viewers, he did say Rochester. It is Week 1, Rochester and Moline. When you look at that, just even like the story tradition, and here's the thing, like you see names and you're like, Moline, Rochester, what a great matchup on paper. But I don't think it's just on paper. I think they're really good this year, if what I've heard. You guys like what you have. That should be on paper. It's fun, but that should be an amazing game at Browning Field Week 1.
Yeah, I think Rochester is as talented as they ever have been, and I've heard Coach Leonard talk about their team. Obviously, they've won I think 8 state championships. They were 8-0 up until last year when they lost to Montini in the state championship game. So they've had a long history of success. Coach Leonard does a tremendous job. Their kids buy into everything they're doing. They're very creative offensively and defensively. And they just do a lot of good things to put their kids in a position to be successful. And then they'll have some deception to what they do on offense. And, they're very confident in their skill kids enough to be able to run some man coverage stuff and disguise some things in the secondary. And their kids are physical. They're obviously fundamentally sound and well coached. And it's arguably, the most talented team that will play in the regular season because of what they bring back and the D1 kids that they have and the D2 kids that they have. Like they're a good team. I mean, they are no slouch, and I anticipate them, probably winning a state championship in their class this year. That's how good they are and how well coached they are. So it'll be pretty cool. It'll be a great opportunity for us to host a great team, with a lot of program tradition and. On a Friday night early here in the fall.
Man, I cannot wait. August 21st, 2 weeks from tonight. I want to talk about your team, and you mentioned with Rochester, you mentioned their skill kids. I think, and sometimes from Moline, you start with the Maroons, and we'll get to that in a second, but you almost sometimes start with the trenches with you guys. I think this year, you look at those skill kids with Mark Harry and the other weapons on this team. Speed is fun to coach. Is that right, Coach?
Oh, my gosh.
Do you enjoy having speed on your team?
There is no substitute. I mean, there's just not. And when you have guys like Mark Carey, who'll be a 3-year starter, Eli Warren, that'll be a 3-year starter, Alex Ocean is only going to be a junior, but he'll be a 3-year starter for us. And then you mix in Garrett Schramm, who played defensively for us last year, will play a little bit more on offense this year. Evan Ellis, obviously, who came over, who's an outstanding wide receiver. Hassan Nadai has played nothing but defense for us as an outside linebacker. But if Hassan gets the ball and he gets free, I mean, he's got elite speed as well. So we do have a lot of guys that can carry the football or catch the football in space and make a big play for us down the field. So that part is exciting. And then obviously Case and Ponder coming back to be a starter again at the quarterback position, his second year now. He's getting more comfortable with things, and you can see him kind of take command of what we're doing offensively. And then a lot of those guys are on the flip side, they play defense as well. So you still have that speed on the back end defensively, and then you mix in Elijah Martin, who's arguably one of the best defensive linemen in the state of Illinois. That helps things too up front.
You mentioned the up front guys. You mentioned Elijah, a really good football player. Talk about that in front, because everybody knows football's speed's fun, but you got to win up front. Where are you guys at there? I know you have some returning pieces that you like. There's always, fill-ins and additions and guys that got to get stepped up. And I think that's something you guys have to see have happen this fall as well.
Yeah, without question. I mean, Blake Smith and Marco Gutierrez come back on the offensive line as starters last year. Elijah Martin will get into that mix, like I said, on offense and defense. And then we had some young guys that are getting looks. Like Angelo Levino's a big, strong kid. Judah Jackson's another really athletic lineman that we can get in the mix. Obviously, from a tight end standpoint, which we've used in the past, we're still trying to figure out who the right fit is there, but we got a handful of guys that have kind of rotated around that might play, in the first couple weeks for sure before we find, what the consistency is up there or at that position as well. So, and then there's some sophomores. We have a sophomore, defensive lineman who's reminds me a lot of DeAnthony Simpson, who we had last year, who's not the biggest guy in the world, but was a 2-time first-team all-conference defensive lineman for us because of his athletic ability and just how aggressive and relentless he was. We do have a sophomore that is almost a spitting image of him, maybe a little bit bigger than DeAnthony was, but also super athletic. So, I mean, those guys, we're going to have a nice rotation of guys that are going to get in the mix on the O-line and D-line for sure. And just finding the continuity and making sure things are meshing at some point is going to be important for the consistency going forward too, though.
One thing I loved about your football team last couple of years, especially last year, was offense is fun and scoring points is fun, but the defense was so good. Can Moline's defense continue to be what it's been in the past several years? Because we know, especially come November time, defense is what gets you to the next round of the playoffs and those type of things.
Yeah, without question. And I think schematically, we've adjusted maybe a couple things here and there with what we're coming into the season, but the blueprint pretty much stays the same, and there are a lot of guys that played quite a bit for us last year that are coming back. Like Mark Carey did play some defense for us last year. Alex Ocean, like I said, will be a 3-year starter in the secondary. Garrett Schramm will be a starter for the second year in the secondary. Hassan Nadai, Brady Frederickson played for us quite a bit. Jonah Engel played for us quite a bit last year. Obviously, Elijah Martin in the mix on the defensive line. So there are guys with experience coming back, but it's just still buying into that mentality. Like Jackson Solis was a great example for us at linebacker last year. I mean, he didn't play as a junior a whole bunch, but his senior year just clicked and he was ready. So we have a lot of guys I think are going to fit that mold defensively with what we're looking at. But the expectations and what we're trying to accomplish defensively stay the same. We're trying to create turnovers. We're trying to be aggressive still. Defensively, like those things are still pretty consistent to what our expectations are for those guys, and I think they buy into that stuff. I mean, they're still. They're trying to pull the ball out, all the time at practice. And when they get interceptions, they make sure everybody knows about it. Like they get excited about that. And that's what you want these guys to do.
Mike Morrissey joining us on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. Maybe the biggest question mark coming into the season for this team might be the fact that Coach Gorgel's not there anymore. How have you guys been able to go along like that? And be honest, is Coach Gorgel still not there? Or has he stayed away? I feel like that old guy. Is he like at the fence looking through?
That's what I anticipated happening. I got a call from Coach Gorgel on Monday, and he was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Catching up like we do because he's my guy. And then, at one point or another, he's like, "Oh, well, do you need some help?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we need some help." So it was my dad and myself were taking the offensive line. I kind of filled into that role throughout the summertime. Sure. And Coach Gorgel, being the great friend that he is like, "Hey, I'd like to salvage that Morrissey Thanksgiving and make sure you guys don't kill each other before then." So he's going to come back, get back in the mix. He's been at practice since Wednesday. The kids are beyond excited. I know my dad is beyond excited to have him back. So it's been kind of getting the band back together. I think he had enough time away, but Kevin, man, he is a structure. Like he's got to have a routine. Yeah. And I kept telling him, "Hey, I know you can go to the YMCA from like 5:30 to 9 in the morning, but what are you going to do after that? Like, what are you going to do for the rest of the day?" Yeah. It's awesome, man.
So I'm guessing basically he loved coming on here to talk about his career so much that he's going back for another year. So now next year we got to do the same thing and we got to do another show on Coach Gorgel.
Whatever it takes to keep him in the mix. Now we also have an understanding, like Bennett is going to be competing for playing time at North Central this year, his son Bennett. So, there's flexibility, like on days he can't be there or days that he wants to go up there or might miss a Friday even or whatever it is. Like we're going to make it work. And obviously Kevin he's not built like that. He's all in on everything he does. And he is the most dependable, reliable man you'll ever meet in your life. So I'm sure that will be a challenge for him at times, but it's one of those things that I think the understanding is like, hey, your kid only does this once. Like you need to take advantage of seeing your son play and don't miss those opportunities. So there's definitely an understanding with that. And I know that having him around for as much as he's going to be around or when he can't be, it doesn't matter. Having him around for the time he's there will make all the difference in the world for our football team.
That's awesome to hear. Mike Morrissey joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You mentioned the Y. If you go to the Y from 5:30 to 9, that's fine. That's a long time. But like after a while, if you just keep hanging on and hanging around, you just become the old creepy guy that's hanging around the Y. So get him back to practice.
He will be that guy at some point. Like that's what it is. Like he's gonna be, hey Kevin, how you doing? Like he walks in, he'll be cleaning equipment just because he's bored. Here. Like that's it. Like I get it, but like I don't know what else he's gonna do. I love it. He likes to be busy. He likes to have stuff going on.
So man. Now you look at it, and I was like, I don't know if that was the one question mark I had about Moline. Now you guys are perfect.
Oh yeah.
Like now there's no reason.
No, I don't know about that.
Let's talk Big Six because we had Coach Welch on already to talk about the conference and what it'll look like, and then Coach Rome as well. And And but both of them, I just asked him about the conference. You know, Nick's like, well, this team, that team, and he started like analyzing everybody. I think Anthony kind of did the same. What's your thought, just big picture wise? You don't have to go through every team and do that, but like big picture wise, I think it's good. I love the conference. I love the coaches because I mean, I just the three that I mentioned know each other enough. You know what I mean? So like, I think the coaching matchups are awesome as well. Your thoughts on the Western Big Six this year?
You know, I say this every year, but I think the strength of the coaches in our conference is their adaptability to their personnel. Like, you know, they have a scheme, they have a system, obviously, on both sides of the ball, but it always fluctuates depending on the type of kids they have in their program. And I think that's what makes high school football coaches successful. When you're able to adapt to your kids and change things and get out of your comfort zone even a little bit. They have to try to learn something new or say like, hey, we're going to expand because this kid does this really well. And this is what's going to help our team be successful. I think all of our coaches do that, you know, to some sense. They might not wholesale change what they do schematically, but they'll take bits and pieces of things that are going to help them be successful and they'll tie that into their scheme. And then that makes it a challenge to prepare for. So, you know, I think it'll be very competitive from top to bottom. I think there's not, you know, like one team that's like, oh my gosh, they're just astronomically better than everybody else. I think Sterling brings a lot of experience and talent back, especially at the skill position. You know, Geneseo obviously just went to the quarterfinals, had a great run. Quincy's been successful, and I think still has a good group of young kids. You know, UT has a system. I think their quarterback is really talented. You know, so if you can get him going and you can't disrupt what he's doing in the pocket, that's going to be a problem. And then, you know, and then you kind of trickle down, like Galesburg will be better. Rock Island will be better. I think both of them will be better than what they were a year ago, which means that the conference will kind of have some parity to it. So I think that's kind of our outlook on things. We haven't gotten too far into the conference because we're so focused on Rochester and Sycamore initially, but we know that those games will be challenging, and we know we turn around right away and have Sterling week 3, which is no joke because I mean they are arguably going to be as good as it gets in our conference as well.
You look at it, Coach, and obviously there's changes to the calendar. We started early, and we've joked like you can clinch a playoff spot in August or whatever. But have you talked to your kids about what it'll look like on the back end of it, or do you not even do that? Or are they high school kids that they don't care, they just want to play football and they don't care what it is? Just tell them when to show up and we'll play.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten into it much. I think they know. I think they know, like, things are, I don't want to say watered down a little bit, but like things are watered down a little bit because they've expanded the playoffs. You know, I think our kids understand that piece, and they also understand, like, hey, if we were to go 9-0 or 8-1, like, we're probably going to get a first round bye. You know, so I think they understand that piece. But at the same time, I don't think they look that far ahead. At least our guys, I don't believe, look that far ahead. They don't sit there and say like, oh, we got to get a first round playoff bye. I think right now the focus is so centrally located on Rochester that we're not worried about anything else. You know, like that's kind of the way it is. But, you know, I think you kind of, you know, because of the system now, like, yes, it's different. And yes, if you win a certain amount of games, you're probably going to get in. And I know you guys have kind of joked about that stuff with Greg and Mitch and those guys, like, oh, hey, we get to announce this. Like, you're in. You won a couple games. Like, it's weird and it's different. And I don't think anybody likes it. But, you know, at the same time, like, I think the one silver lining I've talked about from the beginning is maybe teams are going to play teams they wouldn't normally do, you know, early in the season to challenge their guys because they're not chasing 5 games. They're chasing 3, you know, or whatever it may be. So I think that's a positive. But at the same time, you know, talking with some of my friends in the you know, the coaching world, like, I don't even think there's a question that there will be a proposal sent to the IHSA to go back to what we had or to change something up again. Like, I think it's a guarantee there'll be 1, possibly 2 proposals to get away from this after 1 year. You know, which is
it's almost like a pendulum where like it swung one way, and usually it swings back, and you find something in the middle with it. We've talked about this before, and I don't know the answer to it, but it's the question in sports of like, you know, getting a bye is great, but is it the best thing for what? If you're rolling at the end of the season, I mean, you might want to keep playing. Yeah. Like, I'm a Lions fan.
Sure.
Obviously, NFL and high school are different, but we took a week off and we got beat by the Commanders a couple of years ago. So
Correct.
You just don't know sometimes, but you could be injured and would love to have have a couple guys, rest up and be good to go but I would also say if you're pretty good, like the alternative is you're playing a team that you should probably beat in the first round, even if you're dinged up a little bit. So anyways, those are all
true.
Those are all assumptions. And I don't know, do you like bye weeks? Would you like a bye? Are you like,
no,
I hope we get a bye week this week? Yeah. See, that's what
at the high school level, I don't. I just think kids at that point with school, with football, with everything, like the routine and the structure is good. If you are a grown man in the NFL and that is your job, like you are mentally able to adjust around that stuff. And like, yeah, you probably do need a break to let your body recover a little bit. Like I get it. Like I get that piece. Like you can handle those things better than a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid who also has school, who also has their social life, who also has all those other variables that come into play. Like I have never been a fan of the bye, but we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out.
A few dumb questions before we let you go. What's the most fun you had this summer? And you can't say football. It's got to be something outside of football.
The most fun I had this summer was probably going down to visit my brother in Knoxville, Tennessee. Went down. My daughters were in, and my wife were in Colorado for softball. I stayed back because we had football, and then I left. I went down visit. I flew down to Knoxville. Hung out with Joe for 3 days. We got to, be a bunch of idiots like we are when we get together, and then spend some time with his family and do that stuff. And I had an absolute blast. It was awesome to get out of here for a little bit and spend some time with him. So that was probably one of the highlights of my summer for sure.
Absolutely. If you weren't coaching football and teaching, I don't know if you teach. I don't know what you call it, but man, I'm kidding. But if you had to do something different outside of this realm, what would you be doing with your life?
I like true crime stuff, man. So maybe I'd try to get be like a detective or something like that.
Morrissey.
Now that being said, I also don't like the sight of blood. So I might struggle with some things here and there. Yeah. So I think that's probably what I would venture towards. I don't know. I have no other hobbies, man. It's pretty much football, and that's pretty much it. Besides what my kids are doing, those are my hobbies. So the true crime stuff is intriguing. I like that stuff. And that would probably be the route. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about the only thing I could see myself doing besides this.
If you are going to get some food in the Quad Cities, my last one, I'm a foodie.
Yes.
What's the pick to click? Like where are we going? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite spots in the Quad Cities? Go eat.
I like Mexican food. So pretty much like any burrito place. If you're looking like Los Agaves, something like that, like La Herradura's here in Coal Valley, I like that. So if we're getting food and it's my choice, it's probably some sort of Mexican food. My kids are like Culver's, Chick-fil-A based, so we're stuck with that stuff most of the time, which isn't bad. Look, my brother, general manager at Culver's in Knoxville, Tennessee, not a shameless plug on Culver's, but it is a, those are kind of the spots, like when we're getting dinner out, it's like Pancheros, Chipotle, Culver's, Chick-fil-A. And then, we're able to do something different. Like the Mexican food pull is real.
God, you sound like my family because we love going Mexican, but we live at Chick-fil-A and Culver's and places like that when you're running around.
And like pizza.
Not just because they're a sponsor, but Hungry Hobo. We hit up Hungry Hobo a ton.
Oh, yeah.
So that's an easy one to go get as well. But
yes.
Like when you have kids doing everything that they're doing, it's not your schedule. It's like,
Correct.
we'd love to sit down and make dinner. Like we've tried to in August where it's slowed down a little bit. Like we've tried to do more grilling out, more eating dinners. My wife loves those things, but it's not because I have to tell my wife, it's not because we're not good parents that we're not like making a home cooked meal every night. It's because we would we'd start cooking it like 9 o'clock at night when everybody gets home.
Correct.
So you mentioned Chick-fil-A.
I love it.
You mentioned Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
We actually had Chick-fil-A giveaways at my dad's golf outing this year. But that's the point. You would have known that if you would have. Like the cars.
Maybe had I known that.
They donated, the great people at Chick-fil-A donated
They're the best.
144 free meal cards for our outing. So just throwing it out there.
That's legit.
We'll plug it one more time. Sunday, if you're out and about, get out to the other bar. And you were there last year, and we didn't know what to expect.
I love it.
We went yesterday.
It was awesome.
Greg and I, and then our two good friends of ours, Ian and Dane, we went down there and set everything up to see if it all works. And then I tore it all down and put it back up in the office here today. But
Of course.
and we were talking about last year. We were like, it was like an hour before we were supposed to start. We didn't know if anybody was going to show. We knew coaches were coming, a few of them, but we didn't know if like anybody was actually going to pair. And like we probably had 60 people in there, 50, 60 people in there.
For sure we did.
And so we're looking forward to it. So get on there 4 to 6:30. Coach Morrissey will be there. I know Coach Welch is coming down. We're trying to get Coach Furlong to respond. So Matt, if you're watching this at some point during the weekend, come join us on Sunday. But Coach Furlong
we'll get him
as well. Coach Schlemmer's coming down. Coach Little, I think, is coming up from the Quincy area. So obviously the Western Big Six will be well represented, including, and then a bunch of other coaches from around the area as well. So 4 to 6:30, come by. And don't forget this, Coach. Sunday's my birthday.
That's right. And that's why I couldn't miss it. I was thinking about pulling a Furlong, and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, if I get to celebrate his birthday with him, I have to be there.
Did you just say pulling a furlong?
Let's go.
What is pulling a furlong?
Let's call it what it is.
What is that?
That's just no show. That's just no show right there. Like no show Furlong right there. Like, look, I love Matt, so I can give him a little bit of a hard time on this thing.
I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll see you Sunday, buddy. Thanks, pal.
Appreciate you.
See you, man. That is Mike Morrissey. Again, honestly, guys, get out to the other bar, and then also we talked about it, but the following weekend, the following Sunday, another great event, the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet down at the Stern Center, new venue for that as well, and I'm stuck being there as well, so you're stuck with me there as well. So we'll got a lot more to get to. Coming up after the break, we'll hop the river, we'll go up to Eldridge. Tony Stewart, another great guy. We'll talk about the North Scott Lancers next right here on OTA. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities, of course. High school football Fridays will be here before we know it. We've talked about it a lot this week. Coming up 2 weeks from today, we will start high school football on the Illinois side of the river for real. It'll be week 0 in Iowa. Most local teams don't play week 0. They'll have some scrimmages, but over in Iowa, 3 weeks from right now, it will be week 1 of the high school football season. So we continue our high school football previews on a Friday here on OTA over in Iowa with our good friend Tony Stewart over at North Scott. Happy Friday, young man. Are you enjoying your Fridays? I know there's football today, but like without games, are you counting down like the rest of us?
To the games, yeah, we're excited for the games to get going. I was just thinking about that. Hey, this is my last Friday where I'm not going to be pretty busy here, so I got up and got a pork butt going, and got to do one of those things before I'll never probably cook for another 3 months. So,
All right, so note to self.
got to get something going today. So.
Dinner at the Stewarts tonight. My wife's out of town.
Yeah,
so
you're welcome.
Me and the boys will be over there 5 o'clock. That'll work out perfect.
Come on over. So.
There you go, Coach. Before we talk about the season, the Lancers, those type of things. It's year number 2 for you, and I remember I had you on when you took the job, and then probably a preview last year, and I think a couple times last year because y'all were good last year. But what's year 2? Go back a year ago. What's the biggest difference, I guess, for yourself when it comes to you've been around that program for a long time, so it wasn't a newness of the program. Is there any big difference yourself wise between year 1 and year 2?
Yeah,
what is the biggest difference?
I think the biggest difference is settling in, to the change of position. We talked about, just sliding over a seat, even on the staff. It just makes a big difference in how you approach things. And just, I guess, from my standpoint, going into the off season, I had a better plan because, last year we weren't quite ready for Kevin to step down, or just weren't ready. We didn't know it was coming. So this year I had a plan, and we had some good off season things. We don't do a ton in the off season, but able to get our leadership council going, did some stuff with them, and it's been really good. So we've kept a connection with the guys in the off season, and that's probably been the biggest thing, is having a better off season plan. And then going into this fall, I think there's no more. That wasn't bad last year, but anytime there's that transition, I think when we're previously on a staff, it's getting the kids to see that transition and like, oh, this guy's the head coach, and even as the new head coach, making sure you are being that guy. Where it's just a little bit different. If you I always thought if you went to a different school, it might be a little bit easier transition just because everything's new. But this year nothing's been new and different and awkward. It's just been like, let's roll. So it's been fun.
Yeah, you look back at last year, and I know we want to talk about this year, but last year, a good season, a lot of close calls. I think that playoff loss was a fantastic football game. And you look through the season, a close loss to Western Dubuque and some really good games. I know you have some guys coming back, some experience returning. Maybe every coach is different. How do you look at last year as motivation or a jumping off point for this season? Some coaches are turn the page. It's completely different. Obviously you want your guys to stay motivated. So maybe a loss in the postseason that they felt like shouldn't have lost would motivate. Are you that new season move on, or is there some hunger from last year and how close things were last year?
Yeah, no, I think our guys are, they realize how close we were in a lot of those games. And for me as a coach, and this is in the weight room that I've coached for so many years, details matter. And we had one loss that was a little bit lopsided early, but then the other ones, we lost 3 games by a total of 11 points. And there are this many plays here and there in each game that make that big difference, And I think when we're talking, it's about detail, right? Because I think that when you're talking the really good teams, in any sport, really, right? You can take a 500 team or just above 500, and then a team that's undefeated, and on paper, even on film, you're like, man, we're right there, we're right there. Well, what separates those teams? To me, it's the details from play to play, from practice to practice. So when you're prepared for those moments, those details show up, and I think that's where. And you don't know what they're going to be. You just don't know what the details are. So you have to focus on them on a daily basis. So do we move on? Is it a new team? Are we finding new roles for guys? And absolutely. But what's cool is we got guys that didn't get as much playing time last year because the guys in front of them that are really stepping up and been really pleased. And a couple guys, I'm like, in the offseason, their coaches are like, this kid needs to step up in this one. And I've already seen it. And I'm excited I'm getting chills thinking about some of those guys. And I'm excited. So it's a new team, but you also have to look back, and if you don't look a little bit, in my opinion, you're not gonna make improvements. You don't dwell on it, but you see what you can correct and get better at.
No, absolutely. Tony Stewart joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, you look at it and you do have some good foundational depth and familiar faces coming back. Obviously, you talk about the new guys that has to step up. That's every single year. What do you like about the guys you have coming back, and some familiarity with guys that produced and performed at a high level last year, and seeing them back in a Lancer uniform has to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Last year at this time, I tell you, I didn't know if we'd be able to complete a forward pass in a game. Just that's what it felt like. And one of my coaches, we didn't have a great first practice out at camp this week because that's just the first day stuff. And my O-line coach texted me, he's like, it's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems. And he was really right. And I was thinking about last year, like I said, I didn't think we could throw a forward pass. Our quarterback ended up throwing for 1,200 yards, and we did okay. So, but right now, we're just a step ahead in that area. And so and not just that area, but some of those guys that came back their understanding of the offense, what we're trying to do. We're just ahead of where we were last year. Where last year, even like every one of our offensive skill guys was brand new last year. Like we didn't, because you go all the way back 2 years, we lost quite a few really talented offensive players. Chase Smith, Kai Smith, Cash Bowie. So we had to replace all those guys. This year, it's kind of the flip side. All that experience is coming back, so we're a little bit ahead of schedule from that. So that's been good.
Positionally, really good guys. I know that we love winning games up front. The trenches are important. I know you do lose some guys up front, but you have to reload and dedicate that area of the football game to it. You look at what do you see up front? What are the question marks and what are the things that you like? But I guess we'll talk. I know you love the trenches. How good can you guys be up front?
Yeah, I think we can be pretty solid. We actually have three or four returning starters or guys that played starting roles at certain areas, maybe not full time, but we have some guys returned. We lost a few guys. But we did rotate some of those juniors. They had a little bit more of experience last year. We had AJ Huber's a kid that didn't play. He played very few offensive snaps last year because we didn't need him to. He played a lot of defensive snaps, but he'll be playing a little bit more offense this year as well. And so we got some guys. I'm excited for. He's one kid I mentioned. I try not to mention too many names, but AJ, Bryce Stewart, Carter Laughlin's going to step up. Carson Pike. I could go down the list. We got a lot of kids that I'm excited about. So I think we'll be good. Oh man, Christian Kepi, young guys that are just stepping up. We'll be all right. I'm going to miss somebody, but I'm excited about that group too. And they're physical, they're big, they like to hit, and they just love football. And I think that's a key when you're playing offensive line or defensive line. You're in those trenches. You better love football, And we've got a really good partnership. Drew Kelly's our head wrestling coach. He's one of my best friends. I share an office with him. So I'm trying to get all of our O linemen, but wrestling for our line play guys has been one of the best things, and just learning how to use your hands and the physicality and the toughness. I really have seen that even like with my own kid growing up. Finally, he got into wrestling in junior high a little bit more, and I saw a big change in confidence and all that stuff because of that sport. That's a tough sport. Now you can go do it and you got four guys, two on your right, two on your left, on the O-line instead of out on a mat by yourself. It just gives you more confidence, so it's been fun.
I know you're not trying to mention every name possible, but I'm going to have you talk about some individuals because that's what we want. Like, who are some guys that we're going to hear a lot about on Friday nights? Who are guys that you're excited about that should do really good things for North Sky football this season?
Yeah, so we'll just start with our quarterback position. Miller Hates returning. I am telling we have a good younger quarterback in Conlon Panther who's growing a ton. He had an injury last year. I don't know if you remember we talked about this, but he broke his leg right at the end of baseball season before football, and but he's got an incredible arm talent. He's a smart kid. So those two are kind of battling, but Miller's got the upper hand just because he's returning starter. Great kid, dynamic kid. We ran him a lot last year because he's that kind of guy. So those two are kind of battling out, but here for both of those names a little bit. Again, offensively, Ryan Block, he had a really good year last year. Our ex-receiver, I have a feeling it may be a little tougher sledding for him because people know about him right now, which is going to open things up for Ryder Mayer. Ryder Mayer is Julian Edelman type, that type of player. When I game plan right now, I'm thinking, how can I get the ball in Ryder's hands? So good in space. He's gonna be big for us. Other guys that are coming back: Jonas Schlichting, Gage Wagner, two running backs that due to an injury to Evan Cruzy last year, which was unfortunate. Those two got way more playing time and experience than we expected. So them coming back in the backfield is going to be a good thing because they got more experience than what we thought they were going to have. So again, I'm going to keep missing out defensively. I think we probably have our two of the best middle linebacker tandem that we've had in years. We've had some good ones, but Christian Perez, Vincent Huggart are just dudes. I mean, those guys love to hit. They love football. They love each other. I mean, it's the two guys, Julian and whatever from remember the Titans. You know, I mean that relationship that those guys built, and
Yeah.
I'm just pumped to see those guys just play. And then again on the line, you know, Bryce Stewart, AJ Huber on the defensive line. Those guys they're going to be tough. They're going to be good. I'm excited about it. So I keep going on. I'm going to miss guys, and whoever I miss, I'll text you and apologize to you later. So.
No, it's going to be exciting for North Sky. You look at that district and your schedule in general, and it's always a gauntlet. And I don't think you guys want it any other way. Kind of talk about that because you play in a tough district, but you always challenge yourself throughout the season. The eyes aren't making the playoffs. They're probably bigger goals than that. The schedule's tough, and that's okay in North Sky, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's what we want. I mean, we won't shy away from anybody. You know, we went to a team camp and we played our first two games. They're not full. I mean, it's hard to go to team camp and play another team where it's not, you know, a little chippy, a little full kind of. So you're not fully tackling, but you know, we had last year's 5A state champ twice. We had last year's 5A runner up once, and we played. I mean. And we're all of our guys. Like what I loved is when we got paired up with Dowling. I'm not saying we would go out and beat Dowling. I'm just saying when we got paired up with them at this camp, like every text message back was "Let's go!" Like they wanted that. They want that challenge, and something I've been using with our guys in our youth programs, and probably everybody in the country if they pay attention to the Kurt Signetti and Nick Saban. I love how he talks about you know you should never have self-imposed limitations. Right. And when you get on the field, you can never, your mental game, I may lose like 9 out of 10 reps, but I'm not going to assume that. I'm not going to put that limitation on myself. The next rep, my goal is to win. I'm going to believe that I can win that rep. So we feel like that every game we play, you don't go on and, oh man, we got to play this. No, they got to play us. Right. That's how we're going to approach it. So, and our kids have had a pretty good mentality about that.
I got to ask you on a personal note. You mentioned Bryce Stewart, familiar last name. You're going to coach your kid in the senior year. You've seen Kevin do it. And obviously it's a different dynamic, but it's a fun dynamic. Do you think about that? And it should be a special season for you. Did Kevin lay the groundwork on how it should work and those things, or how do you guys look at what should be a fun season for you and Bryce?
You know, it's been, I think when he came into high school, he's been around the program. I mean, he was just there all the time. And then it's funny because we were talking about Kai, my 12-year-old. He's around practice just like Bryce was. And the other day we get home and Bryce is like, Kai, you're too lazy at practice. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. I said, Bryce, he doesn't have to be you. Like, it was just funny because he was coaching him on how he should be a little brother at practice. But no, it is special, you know, and I talked to Drew Kelly, our wrestling coach I mentioned earlier, and you know, we've coached for a long time. We didn't coach and get into coaching because we were hoping to one day just coach our kids in high school. But we honestly never even thought about it. And then all of a sudden it comes, it's like, holy cow, what I see is coaches miss a lot of time at home, right? And your schedules are different, you're busy, and but what I get now is I get to share experiences that nobody else gets to have, you know. And he had we're in the weight room, he has a big PR and a clean, he likes to clean. And the first guy, I get a high five and a chest bump from him, you know, like whether that's special for him, it is for me, you know. And I would do that with every kid, but I also get to do it with my own. So same kind of experiences. We have had a really good, he calls me coach when he's at school, when he's at practice, he calls me coach. I've almost at times had to tell him at home, I'm like, just call me dad at home, please. Cause he'll get in that Coach Stu mode. But it's special. He handles it well. And I think our kids handle it well. They know that I don't treat him any differently. And it's been fun. It is. And if you don't slow down and realize that, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that. So just going to slow down and enjoy that part of it too.
No, absolutely. Tony Stewart joining us on Off There with Matt Randazzo. Before I let you get going and get to your lovely Friday, I got some dumb questions for you. What's the most fun you've had this summer outside of football? I know you guys are busy with football camps, those kind of things. What's the most fun you had outside of football this summer?
Oh man, most fun I've had. Well, we go to a lot of softball and a lot of baseball games for my kids, so that's been fun. And one of my favorite things to do, I like my morning coffee. It's usually in the weight room with me, but when we were able to go, we ran down to the Ozarks, and this may sound boring to other people, but my favorite part was when everybody's asleep. I'm out on the deck at 6:30, watching the lake, drinking coffee, reading my devotional and my book. I love those times. Like, I cherish that because for me personally, it's a time for me to be, it's quiet and I can sit in presence with, in my Bible and read, and then just have calm. I don't know. That's my favorite part of summer mornings when I get them.
No, that sounds good. The only thing is, careful with that mug. Is that a bunch of Iowa State graffiti put on that?
That's
thing?
A Cyclone mug right there.
Man, I tell you, I don't know if the Iowa
shout out Chase Smith.
That. There you go. Hey, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, that guy might be coming over and helping us out on the for our parent thing. He might be doing a little guest cameo. So I better put that Cyclone mug away. Sorry, I graduated from there, Pat. But
I love it. I love it. Coach, you look at what you do for a living. I'm going to take away coaching, and for you, I'm going to take away the weight room. If you couldn't do those things, what would you be doing with your life?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Man, I think I need to find something where I feel like I can impact kids, or just people. I've coached for so long, and it used to be about me. When you're younger, I think a lot of coaches get into it about me and what I want to do. And I've really learned that, we had a tragedy this week, not this week, 2 weeks ago, our sword tragedy, but two of our players, they're twins. Sorry. Grandpa passed away. He was in hospice. That was kind of expected. 2 days later, grandma passed away, unexpected. So last night, before camp, or actually during camp, they had the visitation. And we actually pushed camp back so kids could go, and we shortened up practice a little bit. And I think just us being there for those kids was so huge for them and their families. And I think anytime you get an opportunity to impact people, you find an avenue. What exactly would that be? I don't know. Like, I think about you, like how many people you've impacted. You can do it in many different ways, so I'd find something where I could impact people, and I'd prefer to work with high school kids.
Sure.
Sometimes I don't do as well with the adults. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Coach, you mentioned putting some meat on the smoker today. When you're before the season starts, I've had coaches say to me, I'll take my wife out to dinner or something along those lines because I don't see him for a while. I'm a foodie. Around town, whether you're taking the wife out to dinner, taking the kids out to dinner, just looking for something to eat, whether you want to be fat like me and go, what's the pick to click for you? If I said, hey, Tony, what's the best place to go get something to eat around the Quad Cities? Where are you going to?
I guess it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, right? But right now, like, if I just want a pizza and wings, I'm going literally 200 yards into Parkview, this new place called Jack's. It's got pizza and wings. And for a small town, Parkview's not even, we're part of Eldridge, but it is fantastic. The wings are great. The pizza's really good. So I'd go there. Oh yeah, it's really good. I end up probably doing that more than I should lately. But then if I take my wife out, got to go find a steak somewhere. That's kind of what my preference. And we went to Johnny's, place like that. It's a great place to go. So
yeah.
But yeah, it depends on what your mood is. Like going down sitting by the river too. Finding places down there. There's the brewery. Gosh, I can't remember what it was. One that makes like the cherry bomb blonde.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh gosh, I should know
Yeah.
this too.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but we went there again. I was like, yeah, I enjoy this on the recommendation of Mark Benno. So he does our video stuff. Light native, awesome guy, Quad City guy, grew up here. So he gave me that recommendation. I was like, oh, that's a good place too. So
All right, last one for
those
you.
are places.
Are you superstitious? And if so, what are your superstitions?
I wouldn't say I'm superstitious. What I would say was I want to be consistent, because I think sometimes I want to be superstitious, but anytime this sock's got to be this way, I'm like, that is not what makes you win or lose. I have to tell myself that, right? So
Yeah.
I think I'd want to be at times, but then it's like Turk Wendell back in the day, right? Like every stupid little thing, he jumping over the white line and brushing his teeth. I'm like, so I saw that and I'm like, anytime I got to do this, I got to do that, there's something else. So I just kind of got rid of those things and just try to prepare and be consistent the same way.
I remember when I was younger, I was watching the Iowa basketball game in my parents' living room, and I'm young, and like back, the TVs aren't what they used to. The old TVs were sitting there on the floor, and they had nice stuff around them like this. They weren't pinned to the wall and flat, and they had like little handles on them. And for some reason, this is a weird story, but my toes were wrapped around one of the handles, and Iowa started going on a run. And they went on like a 20-0 run in a big game. And I'm like on the floor in pain. And my dad's like, what's going on? What's wrong? I'm like, nothing, Dad. I'm good. And finally they gave up a bucket. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, what was that? And I'm like, I put my toes around the handle, and ever since Iowa went on this big run. And he's like, you do know that the way your toes are here in the Quad Cities has nothing to do with what's going on the television itself. I'm like, oh, I guess not. But I'm less than what I used to be. But yeah, I used to be an idiot as well. So hey, always appreciate catching up with you. Enjoy the last Friday before the craziness begins. I know it's still going and all that kind of stuff in general, but 3 weeks from today, you'll be playing high school football. Best of luck, my friend. I hope to talk to you a lot this year. That means you're winning a lot of football games. So let's talk soon.
Let's do it. All
right, brother.
Thanks. Appreciate you having me on.
See you, man. That is Tony Stewart, head coach at North Scott High School. Really good dude, getting ready for year number 2 as the head coach. Been at North Scott for 100 years, I think. He's been there forever, but as the head coach for just 2 of them. We got a lot more to get to. You watching OTA on a Friday in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back. For over 65 years, Linquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Linquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
Hey, I'm the Crawford guy.
Ooh, do you guys always speak at the same time?
Sorry, guys. I'll go first. You know, if you need help with your heating or air conditioning,
or electrical,
or plumbing, Crawford Company can solve your problem.
But what about your problem?
What problem?
Do you not hear yourselves? Take it from me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Crawford is the comfort company.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West.
the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Up the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. TGIF, the weekend nearly here as we get ready for a big weekend here for us. Coming up on Sunday, I'm at the Other Bar in Moline from 4 to 6:30. The View from the West kickoff show, second annual one. We'll have several coaches from around the Illinois Quad Cities and a little farther out as well. Talking high school football, great food, obviously drinks as well. So make sure you plan on joining us on Sunday as well. It is Friday. What I like to do on Fridays, don't always get to do it, but that's life, is kind of go back and do a little Friday rewind, easy for me to say, about what we've done this week on OTA. Started off on Monday. Always great to catch up with Scott Docterman from The Athletic. Nobody has a better grip or pulse on what's going on in college football and Big Ten football than Doc. He spent all of last week at the Big Ten Media Days, and we talked with him. He spent last Friday, a week ago today, down in Illinois, so had a lot of great information on Illinois, and of course we talked to Iowa football with him, and of course the big question as we get ready for the Iowa football season is going to be at quarterback, and who's it going to be? Here's Doc on Monday talking about the always popular to talk about quarterback situation at the University of Iowa. Take a listen.
If today was game day, I think Hecklinski would be the starter today, but that is like 50.5% versus 49.5%. Wow. It is very, very close. I was with Tim Lester for about 3 hours one morning. I think it was late June. Yeah, it was late June. And we went over, he pulled up all these charts on what's the, here's what they did. And the number of passes they threw, which was like 175 to 173 that they charted. And he didn't chart things like drops. He didn't give them credit for it, but he didn't give them a penalty for it, drops, or even throwaways that were the recommended throwaway, like, okay, everybody's covered, get rid of it type of thing. And the things that he saw that right now kind of, I'll use the merits that they got. One is, Jeremy Hecklinski had 8 interceptions to Hank Brown's 4. So that's got to come down. He's got to show either better decision-making or a little more accuracy. But then with Hank Brown, he has a tendency to check down a little bit more often. And they want to be explosive. I mean, this is Iowa. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they want their passing game to be explosive. Crazy. And they want to take shots. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think everybody should appreciate that. So it's going to be, if Hank Brown can take more shots and connect more down the field, he's got the prototype body that you would want. He's 6'4", 6'5", big arm, smart, can do all those things. But then, Jeremy Hecklinski brings them another dynamic. And, because he's a gunslinger for sure. And with that, provides a little more mistakes, but it also provides a little bit of necessary swagger to it. And, I don't know which direction they're going to go. I mean,
I don't think anybody knows the direction they're going to go. Great stuff from Doc. We talked about Tony Diaz and the the praise he received from Kirk Ferentz, which should raise flags and get your attention if you're an Iowa fan, because Kirk's not one to blow smoke, if that makes any sense. So, again, great stuff from Doc on Monday. If you missed it, go check it out. And again, next Friday, a week from right now, we'll be heading up to Iowa City. We're going to do a show from 2:30 to 4:30 next Friday, off the air at Iowa Football Media Day. Should be a bunch of fun. Make sure you mark that on your calendar as well. Go check out Doc over the weekend or right now after the show and listen to what he had to say about all the football and obviously Illinois as well. Should be a fascinating season in the Big Ten. On Tuesday, we were joined by Iowa all-time leading scorer Luka Garza. We talked to him about the Hawkeyes. He's got great camps coming up. The 17th in Fayette and the 19th in Indianola. It's the Luka Garza Academy. And so we caught up with Luka to talk about those things and also his breakout season this past year with Boston, and what was it about Boston that situation that allowed him to maybe take that next step of his career. Here's Luka on Tuesday right here on OTA. Take a listen.
I think the main thing was just the fit into what the culture of being a Boston Celtic is. I think I just, those qualities are something I try to embody every single day. I walk in the gym every single time I put on a jersey. Every time the ball is thrown up, I try to play as hard as I can. I try to, just outcompete guys and do what I can to help a team win. And I think that's something that's really valued in Boston. And I think there was things throughout the course of a year that I was able to kind of, hang my hat on, as what I can do every single night to impact winning. And I think, it was through my screening, offensive rebounding, and then, ability to stretch the floor and make shots. So I think with those three things, I was really able to kind of find a rhythm of consistency of, what it looks like for me to impact a rotation every single night.
Great stuff from Luka Garza. We talked to him about everything. He's got a wedding coming up. Austin Ash gets married next weekend, and he's the best man of the wedding. So we talked about his best man speech. Peanut butter and syrup on pancakes. Have never done it. Might do it this weekend. That was a Luka tip, if you will, when it comes to food. So go check out Luka Garza from Thursday's shows. And then, of course, the rest of the week has been a bunch of fun as well. Trent Condon joined us to talk about the Hawkeyes. We had Mike Kegley from the Illini guys talking Illinois. We've been doing high school football previews. So far this week, we've knocked out and talked to Assumption head coach Nate Gilbreth. And over on the Iowa side as well, Adam Height at Davenport North, and now North Scott's Tony Stewart. And then we've also been in the Western Big Six with Nick Welch, Anthony Rome, and of course Mike Morrissey today. So 4 high school football previews this week alone on OTA. So go check them out as we continue to count down and work our way to what should be another fun football season of high school football on the Illinois side of the river and the Iowa side of the river as well. Again, our reminders, make sure you come join us for this kickoff party we got going on Sunday. We're really excited about it. And again, a week from now, we'll be in Iowa City getting ready for Iowa Football Media Day and OTA in Iowa City for that. We are really, really excited about that. We want to thank our sponsors. Can't thank them enough for allowing us to do this every single day. And we want to thank you guys for watching each and every day as well. Enjoy the weekend. Take some time to get caught up on OTA if you got a chance. And we'll be back here with a new episode of Off the Air coming up on Monday. Don't forget, Sunday we'll be on this channel with the kickoff party. If you miss it on Sunday, we'll recap it for you on Monday. A lot to do with that. And of course, congratulations once again to Roger Craig heading into the Hall of Fame this weekend as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.